Let's talk about COVID transmission and why and how contamination occurs around shared meals and drinks. So the orodigestive tract infection route has been explored in mice, where COVID was able to inoculate and grow inside of the gastric tract, which is just a fancy way to say that things you eat and drink can infect you with COVID. So the authors did a baseline looking at festivals and COVID transmission during the festivals. At this first festival in Catalonia, festival goers were required to be vaccinated, to have taken mandatory tests, and given masks at the entrance. But importantly, the consumption of food and drinks was authorized everywhere. After this single-day event, 757 people were infected, which was about 4% of festival goers. Then, at a second outdoor festival with the same mask-wearing and testing requirements, consumption of food and drink was prohibited at the concert but allowed elsewhere. And despite having more people, only 2% of festival goers here, around 600 people, were infected with COVID from this event, even though it was 3 days versus 1 day. With again, the major differentiating factor being that the first festival allowed drinks and food, and the second one did not. So we should begin to consider an alternative transmission route of COVID through soiled food and drinks. Soiled in the fact that it was prepared by a sick caregiver can be a contributing factor for COVID infection. Outside of concerts, restaurants were also prone to COVID spread. In Thailand, there was a case report where people went to a farewell party and they shared a drink from the same glass. 11 of these partygoers were infected with COVID, and the 4 that did not drink from the glass did not develop illness. Further epidemiological studies have shown that sharing meals or drinks seems to strongly be linked to COVID infection. When comparing caregivers between a sick and a healthy group, there was a very strong correlation with the sick group going to a restaurant or bar about 16 times more. And these practices of going out and sharing meals was much more impactful than even continuous and prolonged contact without masks, which was about 2.3 times greater than. Additionally, a Danish case control study on 617 individuals showed that drinking in a bar was strongly associated with infection, 10 times higher risk. Singing had a 2 times higher risk, and attending fitness centers had a 1.8 times higher risk. But these activities led to lower but still significant spread as compared to sharing meals. And importantly, even in gyms, outbreaks were associated with food consumption. It is believed that this contamination can either be direct, so being projected from an infected person's mouth onto the face of the person that they are talking to, or indirect, where droplets of virus hit nearby glasses, plates containing food, or even on the cutlery, which can then infect the person by being brought to the mouth. This is a visual demo of that, where you have COVID either directly splattering the person or indirectly splattering the person, and then they drink it. Importantly, lots of studies have shown that COVID is in fact produced in the salivary glands and the oral cavities, which means that it can be produced from your mouth. In a particulate study, drops were found to range from 43 to 2,155 micrometers. And using the equation for the volume of a sphere, see, math can be handy, a single droplet, the average droplet from before, can contain approximately 3,900 virions. And the largest droplets, the ones that are 2,155 micrometers in diameter, could contain over 500,000 virions. And when they did a droplet study from a person speaking for 3 minutes directly at a listener, this is what that spread looks like. Now, importantly, see how there's very few particles over here, particulates over here? This is inferring that if you sit side to side with a person, you are much less likely to be infected through this manner of spittle projection than you are sitting across from a person. And a South Korean study in early 2020-2021 seems to have shown that this is true. For people that are sitting side by side and not talking with one another, there's virtually zero risk of infection. Now I'm going to cut off here and go to a part 2.